How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Vindaga Games. Sorry it's been a while since I've uploaded. It's been pretty busy and crazy. But today we're going to be making a longer video showing you how to make an outpost. So let's get into it. So we're using styrofoam, and this is stuff you can find in a lot of packaging and boxes. These are a bunch of scrap pieces that I've saved. And here's a wall piece pre-built from one of my previous projects. I'm going to be doing a little more brickwork, but you can see like the indentations here and all the fine porous detail that comes with the styrofoam, so it makes a great texture for these wall pieces. Now you can see here on my grid, each of the end pieces is 1 inch by 2 inches tall, and the center is about 3/4 of an inch wide. So we got these various styrofoam blocks ready to go for this part of the project. And we have two sizes. We have the 1 inch and we have the 3/4 inch piece. And we're going to just be matching it up to make sure it fits. And we're going to go ahead and start cutting out our end pieces. Nice smooth strokes with the styrofoam that's really thick. You don't want to do too much sawing with this stuff. It will really hack it up and make a mess. And as you can see here, I didn't go deep enough and I kind of messed it up, but that's okay. This can be trimmed easily, and it's going to be weathered and textured looking, so it's okay. And right here, I'm just going to saw this off just a little bit, shave it nicer. And we're going to cut out a whole bunch of these for the next step of the project. And here, after we get several cut out, we're going to break chunks off the corners and some of the sides just to give it a weathered and aged look. Your walls aren't going to necessarily look brand new all the time, so if you're going for an ancient feeling of a world, you're going to want to have them textured. And now that you got enough cut out, let's get on to the next step of the project. Here we're going to be using another smaller X-Acto knife, and we're going to use the back end of it, so the dull side, to cut little grooves in. I like to make my bricks about a quarter or half an inch each. And you'll see I kind of do an offsetting pattern here. Once that's done, we're just going to fill in all the rest of them for a nice brick pattern. Now that they're all finished, we're going to start making the middle pieces. For these guys, you just want the 3/4 of an inch for the middle part to give it a nice wall look. And we're going to cut these 2 inches in length, and we're just going to cut this guy straight down. Once you measure it up, once again, smooth transition of a cut, and then come back over and you'll get a nice relatively smooth cut out of your styrofoam. Measuring it up, make sure it fits. And now, because it's not going to be exactly 2 inches high, we're going to use our previous wall we made. So as you can see, it's just a hair over 1.5 inches. We're going to measure that guy up. We're going to make a mark. And this is going to be our new guide for the rest of these wall pieces. So once again, with our knife, we're going to just smooth transition cut this thing out. And we're going to repeat the process, matching up the sides, and we're gonna rinse and repeat this process until we got enough middle parts. And some of these, you can see, they do tend to get a little jacked up sometimes when you're doing this, but that's not a problem. You can save those for the top part and put the smooth part on the bottom of the wall, and you can use that to your advantage when you're texturing it. So here, just like the end pieces, we're going to texture in some brickwork. For the middle pieces of the wall, I like to use a larger inch-sized brick texture. So you'll see we're doing large squares and then offsetting some of the seams as well and putting a little indent on the top. Now that we got these guys cut out, it's time to texture them just like we did our end pieces. Once you get enough of these chipped out and broken up, it's time to start putting these together. So we got one end piece and these two middle parts. And we're just going to apply some of this tacky glue part way up the brick here. I went too far up the top, so I'll have to clean that up later. And we're going to match that wall piece up. And do the same with the other side. Adding some more glue. Once again, I went too high on that, wasn't paying attention. But that's all right. It's gonna come out good in the finished product anyway. So we'll allow that to set and dry off to one side, and we'll make the other ones. Looking pretty good so far. Once you get 4 corners of it out, you can start working on the next part, and that's going to be the tower of this outpost. So we're going to get 4 of these middle wall pieces together, and we're going to glue them together. Once you get all 4 sides glued in, you can set them in. Allow them to dry off to the side before we get on to the next part of the project. Now here I have a blueprint drawn up of the basic concept for this tower that I'm trying to create. It's going to look a little different in the finished product, but that's okay. I just like to get my brain on paper when I'm working on intricate projects like this. So here are the materials we're going to be using. These are like a little square thin dowel and some popsicle sticks and some larger square dowels as well. These guys are all going to be cut at different lengths for this project. And then I have some of this foam board that is 2 inches by 2 inches. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our foam board and these dowels, and we're going to cut the corners to match the width of the dowel. I'm going to go all along each of the corners with the small knife, and we're going to cut and pull these off so that we can glue them to the end posts. And for this part of the project, I kind of sped up some of the steps for the sake of longevity. But just wanted to basically show you guys the process. So these guys I'm marking at 3 inches. I highly recommend one of these grid mats for your projects. It comes in really handy for easy measuring. We're going to do another 3 inches and get 4 of these guys cut out. And for this particular dowel, I neglected to get a proper balsa wood, which would have been a lot easier. So here I ended up having to use a little craft saw to get these guys cut open. But once I did, I'm going to be putting these on each of the corners. A little bit of glue here at 1 inch so that the sides of the tower will be 1 inch tall on the top or upper floor of this little outpost tower. Give that a minute to set in, and you're going to start the process again on the other side, and you're going to go all 4 corners with this guy slowly. This part can be kind of tedious, but as long as you allow the glue to get tacky after about a minute, you can cruise along this part of the project without too much trouble. Once it's set in, you'll see that we cut small grooves out on the foam base part and just slid the dowels in. And here we have it set in place. Now we're going to be working on the side of the tower using some of our popsicle sticks that we have. For these, we just cut them at an angle and glued them onto the sides, and also those thin square dowels along the top. This next part, we're adding the ladder. I had to add another piece of styrofoam to the bottom part of the tower, as you'll see, and I put the ladder in an angle so that the miniatures can actually lean on the ladder and as if they're climbing. And I just used the popsicle sticks and those square dowel bits and glued them. Now here's the part where we're going to be painting the walls with a black paint, a black acrylic paint. And you want to just lather this thing on really good and get in all those little cracks and crevices that cover the styrofoam. Brush it on pretty thoroughly. We're going to do the same with the tower, and we're going to cover all the places with the black undercoat. And this part can get pretty tedious around some of these tight corners. And once it dries, we're going to go over the parts of the tower that we want to be wooden with this dark brown, and brush it on pretty lightly so that there's still some of that black showing through. Same with the stone texture on the wall. We're going to just dab it on and kind of stipple it, just so you have some of that black coming through the wall. It gives it a great stone wall texture and look to it. Now that that's done, we're going to get these wall pieces painted up. Same process, we're going to stipple it, just dabbing it on there and spreading it around just a little bit, because you don't want it to be flat gray. You want a lot of that black to be showing up through it. And there you have it. There's all the pieces painted and finished. And you can sort these in any array that you want, in any style. And here's what it can look like when you have your wall set up. And now these pieces are modular and ready to go on the battlefield, so that you can start preparing your next campaign for your adventurers. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did. And if you want to be notified when I drop more videos, which I'll try to do more frequently from now on, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified when I drop another video. But that's all for now, and until we meet again.